Well, I'm a, I guess I'm commenting, or I'm just gonna tell you my story. With suicide, I've been the one, um, at a young age, thought about suicide, and even I used to sit in every morning before I go to school, I would take a handful of pills. I know this sounds like I'm doing a Fantasia, but I would take a thing of pills because I felt as though they're pain pills, right? If they're pain pills, then maybe they can take this pain that I feel. They didn't. They just made me feel worse. I was sick all the time. I was throwing up all the time. I had headaches. It was horrible. Um, and I remember one day that changed my entire life. It was one of many things that changed my life. I had wrote a suicide note that morning, and I took it to school with me. I don't know why I did it. I don't know what this. I know who did it. God did it. I took it to school with me, and I was gonna, because I didn't want my father to see it yet. I wanted to wait till I got home. If he got off early, I didn't want him to see it yet. I was just trying to make sure, do I really want to do this? And when I got to school, I was like, I'm really gonna do this when I get home. I'm gonna go in the kitchen. I'm gonna get the knife, and I'm gonna stab myself. That's what I thought, and I thought about running away as well. And I wrote the note. I took it to school with me because I was trying to make sure if I really wanted to do it. And I told myself I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take my own life because at the time I knew I was gay. I didn't know what I didn't know what the word was, but I knew that I liked boys, and I knew my father was strictly against it. He would throw faggot, queers. He would throw that word around with such anger and such malice, and it just frightened me. It frightened me to the point of sometimes I would go in my room and cry because I knew this is what he didn't want me to be. And sometimes I would try to force myself to try to look at women. I would try to force myself to try to like a woman, and it just never worked. I forced myself to have a little girlfriend. It didn't work. I forced myself to try to be everything he wanted me to be, but it didn't work. So I was backpedaling there. So I'm at school, and I guess I was walking to a class or what have you. I was in elementary. I was in fifth grade. True story. I was walking to my class, and apparently it had dropped out of my folder. Now, mind you, I didn't know this. I get to my class, and on the intercom it says Nathan Watkins report to the front desk. I'm like, I've always been a quote unquote good child, so I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened? Everything is running through my head. Something wrong with my daddy, something wrong with my mother, something wrong with my sister, my deaf sister, because I really did not know I had an older sister. I thought she was just a stranger, but that's another video. Um, Hell, whatever. And I got to the front desk, and they sent me to a counselor. Um, and this is what I liked about white schools. And I was staying in Douglasville at this time. Um, and it was an all white school. It was Bright Star Elementary, and it was a counselor there named Miss. Her name was Miss Rose Gonzalez, and I will never, ever, so long as I breathe, so long as I live, forget her name and forget her face, because she was a godsend, literally. I sat in her office, and she said, she pulled out a piece of paper, and she said, Nathan, I got this paper from one of your friends, Trey. He was a white boy. Um, and he said, and she told me, she was like, he told me that you had wrote this, and he had found it on the ground, and opened it and read it and sent it to me. And she said, are you contemplating taking your own life? I said, yes, ma'am. And from that day on, she has been my counselor. It was just like a class. I went to her every day on the regular. We talked. She talked me through everything. Um, she talked. I talked to her about my problems at home, about my father, and how I know that I'm different, and I know my father wouldn't love me. And from that day, and she taught me. She said, Nathan, well, she didn't teach me. She told me, Nathan, instead of writing a suicide note, write down what you're angry about and rip it up and throw it away. Your problem has just left. That's what she would tell me. And I started doing that. But then eventually, instead of ripping the papers up, I started writing lyrics. I started writing little short stories. I started writing little short plays or what have you. And this developed over time and over years. Me writing. That's why I'm a writer now. That's why I'm such a great writer. I don't want to toot my own horn, but that's why I write now. And to whomever is watching this video, taking your own life, it seems like the easier solution, but it's not. And I've said this, I think, numerous times. Suicide is never the answer. Find someone, go to a counselor, go to someone that you trust. And for me, it was my school counselor. God sent her to me. He sent me to her. And I thank God for that every day. Find someone that you're comfortable with. Talk to them. Release your emotions. Write. I'm gonna tell you what she told me. Write down what your problem is and rip it up. Your problem has just left. Don't let that problem seep, and don't let that problem sit on your heart. I know, whatever you're going through, it's hell. I've been homeless with my father before. I've slept in a truck. You know what I mean? All of that. I almost burnt up alive in a burning house. Um, my the kitchen had caught on. I was a baby, and the kitchen caught on fire, and I was still in the house. My mother and father could not find me, and when the when the firefighters and whatnot got through putting out the flame, I was under the cover, and I could have easily died of suffocation, but I didn't. So I always see, you know, problems. I've always seen a problem. I'm like, okay, this is a test. That's always been my mindset. This is a test. Um, and I've had problems with both of my parents. I love both of my parents, regardless of how they may have treated me or how I felt they have treated me. And I try not now, as an adult, I don't do that. I don't blame my mother or my father for whatever. I used to try to do that. I used to blame everything on my father, and then I found out things about my mother, so it was both of them that I had problems with. And then I realized, they did what they did, and they're doing their own damn thing. While I'm sitting here hurting, crying over spilt milk. So it took me a while. I'm 22 now. It took me a while to realize that. And even to this day, I will admit sometimes suicide does go through my head. But I realize that I am not where I was. I okay, excuse me. I'm not where I used to be. I am in this place. I'm growing. I'm starting to see things differently. I'm starting to feel different things, good things. I'm starting to see my life turn around. So whoever is watching this video, trust and believe me, baby. Dark clouds, they do pass. But what you got to do while them dark clouds are over your head is you got to fight through them dark clouds. You got to keep walking head strong, head up. And for me, it was my faith that kept me. It was God that kept me alive and my trust in Him. I've lost sight of Him, but He never lost sight of me. So I'm telling you this. When there's a dark cloud, baby doll, walk. Don't run from it. Run straight through it. Because believe me, that dark cloud is going to pass. And when it does pass and you see the light, you're going to see a whole nother life. You're like, wow, I got through it. And you're going to feel good about yourself. So if you're being bullied in school, bullied by a family member, go talk to somebody, a counselor, a teacher, ask, somebody that you feel close to. Luckily for me, I had people like Martika, Ashley, maybe even Janae, my old ex friend Shay. I talked to them because I didn't have no one else to talk to. And they listened. Um, they listened. And that's what I needed. So I'm telling you this right now. It does get better. Suicide is not the answer. Suicide is letting them win. You are the winner. They're the loser. Truth be told, you are a winner. WINNER. You are a winner, baby. He or she, you are a winner. Gay, straight, bi, it doesn't matter, baby. You are a winner. If you're being bullied or picked on by anybody, do not let them win. Let them run their mouth. Because you know what, in the end, they're insecure about who they are. They're insecure in their own skin. So you fight. You keep your head up. Walk tall, walk strong, and walk in faith. Let them talk. Because like someone once told me, if they're not talking about you, then baby, you ain't doing something, then you ain't doing something right. So apparently you're doing something right because they're talking about you. Keep doing you. Fuck them. Do you? And if you are a bully, or if you are a family member that picks on someone, remember, you could be in their shoes at any moment, or you can lose them at any moment. I'm gonna close this video out by saying, kill hate and bring alive love, because in this world, that's all we got is love and faith. I'm gonna calm down and say I bid you adieu. If you need someone to talk to, I'm here. I don't mind talking. I don't mind listening. And Bordashian, I admire you for that. I admire you for that, for coming through and speaking on your truth. I admire you for that, baby doll. And, you do show me that I can do it. And my cousin Derek, Pooh Bear, if you're watching this, I admire you as well. Because you show me I can do it. And Bordashian, you show me that I can do it. That I can make it through the storm. So thank you to all my subscribers. Rate, subscribe, comment. Love all of you.